TIAA is on a mission. Why? Because 54% of Black Americans don't have enough savings to retire. So in collaboration with big-name artists like Wyclef Jean, TIAA released Paper Right, new music inspiring a new financial future. With 100% of streaming sales going to a nonprofit that teaches students how to invest. Stream Paper Right now and help close the gap.
Bros and hoes and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and hoes and heroes. Gonna tell you about comic books,
costumes,
facts, boots,
and other stuff.
In this week's issue, Rock and Roll Comics present Vanilla Ice.
Welcome into Bros, Foes, and Heroes. I'm Zach, joined as always by, I was going to try to do the whole thing that we used to do of where I made you a superhero sidekick.
Yeah.
And I completely forgot which ones I used and which ones I didn't.
Okay.
So I'm just not going to rehash it. And here's Mike, everybody.
I'm just a sidekick, man.
Well,
I'm here to be the
See,
side.
here's the
No,
thing.
I am. Honestly, in this show, I am happy to be the sidekick because I am the perpetual viewer.
I feel like
I'm the
you
audience.
are the show in a way, though.
Yeah.
I have to play the straight
that.
man in a way by telling the story.
Well, that's
So I feel like it's your time to shine.
okay. Well, thanks. It's only taken 1,000 years, but sure, let's do it.
All right. Well, Mike, last week we talked about a doctor who could transport his mind into different animals.
Yes.
Today I'm going to bring us back to the real world a bit.
I like how Mason titled it. It was what was the guy's name? Dr.
Hypno?
Yeah, it was Dr. Hypno. Ooh, it was all like
yeah.
17 O's.
Oh, it was good.
Yeah, good job, Mason.
Fantastic job, Mason. And if you haven't listened yet, on Wednesdays, he and I do a show where we go over our weekly comic book polls.
That's right.
There was a couple weeks where Mike filled in for me on that too.
I did.
So-
I had no idea what you were talking about, but sure, I enjoyed it. It was fun.
So make sure to check that out as well. But today I'm going to bring us back into the real world, Mike, and I mean the real world. Because I'm going to bring to you, let me figure out, hold on. I want to make sure I get the year of this right. Because they were founded in 1989. I want to assume, I could be wrong, I think this came out in 91. But what we have here...
Is that the cover?
No, this is the back of it.
Oh, okay.
We have presented by
shit. I know exactly what this is.
Revolutionary Comics.
I know what this is.
Rock and Roll Comics.
Yeah.
It is a unauthorized biography because they put on here unauthorized and proud of it.
Sure.
Rock and Roll Comics presents to you the unauthorized biography of
Vanilla
Ice.
Yeah. I love that it's Rock and Roll Comics and it's Vanilla Ice.
Well, a lot of the ones that they did before, like I just went and looked back just to kind of get a feel for the company. It's like, Motley Crue and
I think you're really
Aerosmith
pigeonholing yourself, though.
Well,
it's like rap snacks. You've pigeonholed yourself. You can only use rappers.
I think they did one over like NW. They do a couple rap acts,
okay. All right.
But that's about it. It is mainly rock acts after that.
I really want an illustrated version of Motley Crue. That's what I've always wanted.
Real quick. Well, I can do that next week if you want it.
Oh, boy. Vince Neil, penciled by somebody who doesn't care. That sounds great.
That's the thing. That's the great thing about this is you can tell with reading this that these people... I may venture that it's not that they didn't care. They genuinely just did not like Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, I get it.
And it is funny to read through some of this, but we'll get to it in a second. Revolutionary Comics was an American comic book.
No, they didn't stay in business? Come on.
No.
With such great titles as the unauthorized biography of Vanilla Ice.
No. I wasn't trying to harp on that. I didn't mean for it to sound like that.
Yeah.
I misspoke. I'm just saying.
Okay.
They were at the time.
There were a lot of comic book. There were a lot of.
We've talked about this before because for some reason I've had a lot of conversations with other people about this here recently.
Yeah.
So there was a comic book bust, a giant boom.
Yes.
And bust in the early 90s, kind of late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
So, like things like this,
Followed by a trading card bust. Followed
I think
by
the trading
whatever.
card, the trading card might have come
I
first.
think
and it
I've
was
been through 2 of those trading card busts.
When was the
in
other
my
one?
life? It was in the early 40s.
Oh, okay.
No, I don't know.
Well, I don't know how I know this either, and I'm maybe butchering part of it, but the story goes that the original Top set, the 1953, they weren't like the guy who created them.
Yeah.
They weren't doing well.
Nobody
and
cared.
frustrated.
Yeah.
He just like threw them into the Long Island Sound. That's where most of Mickey Mantle's rookie cards are.
Wow.
So
that's amazing.
Maybe it's not the Long Island. It was somewhere, but yeah, in frustration, like he threw him there, and
You
then
just
it was
got to
like
commit to a body of water and go with it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't
know.
question
I did
yourself.
say it's in the Long Island Sound.
It's in the Long Island Sound. Yeah. Stupid place with stupid cards.
But so Revolutionary Comics was an American comic book publisher specializing in unauthorized profiles of entertainers and professional athletes, as well as a line of erotic comics.
Oh boy.
Its flagship series was Rock and Roll Comics.
Its flagship was Foot Fetish Comics.
No, it doesn't say I think those were Carnal Comics is what that was
Toes
called.
for Dirty Boys.
It doesn't give prints, but it was Carnal Comics. Ooh,
Yeah.
True stories of adult film stars.
Oh, fantastic. There's nothing that needs to be illustrated more than that.
We are focusing here on Vanilla Ice. And Mike,
I got to get something out of my system.
go ahead.
Because this is Vanilla Ice. I just need to do mine goes ding, 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 da ding, ding, but theirs goes ding, 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 da ding, ding.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Yeah.
It's brought up in here.
Is it? Oh, fantastic.
In a way.
Great. Okay.
Here's the thing.
In a
is,
way.
like, so apparently,
No, mine goes
this
ding,
is
ding, ding, da ding,
happening
ding.
in the first kind of downfall for Ice. It's happening right in that. But it's like right after, like,
Is this right after Turtles?
yeah, it's right after Turtles. What was the movie he's in? It talks about it at the end.
Cold as Ice.
Cold as Ice. It's
Yeah.
it's just like it's about to come out.
Yeah.
So this is how it is. They don't know how that's
I
going to
want
do
you to
yet.
understand that we've listed probably 75% of his filmography just by listing those 2.
No, that's not true because he was on the DIY network for a long time.
Well, but I'm saying
there's
film.
individual episodes.
Yeah.
Oh, film-wise, yeah.
That's a whole different thing. I watched that show, whereas like Vanilla Ice knocking down walls and
Yeah, how
building
was it?
pools. Oh, it's exactly what you expected.
All right. So, well, did you expect color for this comic?
Yeah,
'Cause
that's
you
what.
don't get it.
So, I remember these damn comics, and I remember thinking, boy, those are cheap pieces of garbage.
So,
Yeah.
I will say though, I'm going
I
to.
love this pose where he's just got his hand over
It
his
is.
mouth.
The writer is J. Allen Sanford, artist Greg Fox, and editor was the creator of Revolutionary Comics, Todd Lauren. I will say that some of the art, like the face, like it's not
No, the
bad
face is
art.
great. Yeah, it looks like when I went to art school, how people would do like pictures of like it's a lot of stippling.
Yeah.
And cross hatching and things like that.
And I will say also that the writing's not bad. It's just you can tell that they don't like it. I can tell that there was a lot of research kind of
A new
I
Ice
assume
Age.
but there's a lot of stuff I did not know that I learned from this
Oh,
that I would
sure.
have to go. I went back and looked and I was like, oh, okay, yeah.
Really?
So
I'm just trying
I don't
to,
know the sign.
Well, okay, I've seen that his whole career, right?
Yeah, his hand
Is that
symbol.
a V and an I?
I don't know.
V I?
What
is
does
that
that
what
mean?
that is?
What does
Vanilla
that mean?
Ice?
Oh, is that what
You
that
see what I'm
is?
saying?
But then why the thumb?
I don't know.
Why not just tuck it and
Because
be
you got
like,
4
oh,
fingers
you
pointing
can't-
back at you? I don't know.
It's easier to, yeah, you could be like, well, that just
Yeah.
looks like you're, I don't know.
It looks a little crippled.
That was great for a podcast of me showing Mike what different combinations my fingers would make.
Vanilla Ice
Vanilla Ice's.
holds up 2 fingers in almost a V shape, and then one is a knuckle.
It's the middle and the ring finger.
And the little one seems to be tucked behind the ring finger.
No,
And that's very hard to do.
oh, it is. And
You
then
see
he
what I'm
holds
saying?
the thumb
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
That might be a VI.
It could be a VI.
Hey,
Wow.
Hey, Vanilla Ice, let us know. Is that a VI?
Hey, Rip Van Winkle or
Rob.
whatever your Rob Van Winkle, let us know if that's a VI.
So let's go ahead and get this started. Halloween 1968.
Yeah.
Beth Van Winkle, which is Rob's mom.
Yeah.
It basically says that, she's coming in. She's ready to give birth. I do love
That
the
is not
fact.
flattering of her face.
No, that is not a great
Yeah.
picture, but I do love that she is quoted as saying, feels like the son of, oh, by the way, these were adult comics.
Oh,
so
okay.
be prepared. I'm about to say something. But she does say, feels like the son of a bitch is dancing in there. So we want to make sure we establish how good of a dancer he is already.
Yeah, he's got golden fetus legs.
It talks about how competitive he is from an early age.
Sure.
But the quote here says, I can scream louder than you, Kip, and I'm the greatest. So Kip's his older brother, I guess.
Okay.
It does say
Kip
that.
Ice.
I do love it. It says that the Van Winkle family lives in an affluent suburb of Miami. And make sure to say affluent. Yeah.
Suburb.
But then there's a scene of like how young Ice keeps always getting in trouble.
He's got like the howdy doody hair. He's got a perfect part. No, shit, that's my hair. Never mind.
But it says young Rob, by the way, Rob Van Winkle is Vanilla Ice's real name. Robert Matthew Van Winkle.
You think he's got
name.
this up on his wall somewhere? Just
That
this picture of him?
I don't know. Maybe.
Illustrated.
But it's said that his...
Or do you think he had to sell it?
Maybe he had to sell it. I don't know. It's not like Hammer where it was like...
The guy has made a shit ton of money in the housing thing, though.
Well, good for him, though.
He has made a lot of money doing that, flipping properties in Florida.
I guess he got the last laugh, though.
Yeah.
But, so young Rob causes a lot of trouble. The man who was... It says in So, I read... I don't want to get into family business.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Wait,
So,
I was going to ask you, like, who's his dad?
that's the thing, is I read via Wikipedia, which who knows how reliable that is, first of all.
100%.
Yeah, it said that apparently they don't know. Like, he never met his birth father.
Virgin birth?
That his mother just named him after her boyfriend at the time that she was with, that she stayed, or maybe she was married to him then, or they did get married after. So he had his last name. And so I don't think he ever knew.
Seems like a solid plan. Like,
His dad, but that guy.
Hey, buddy, what's your name?
But Mr. Van Winkle does leave eventually, too.
Okay.
But here's that's funny to me is his mom is telling the kids, now, Kip, Robbie, I don't want you guys to feel like it's your fault at all, right? Your dad just couldn't handle this responsibility.
Sure.
And there's a thought bubble from young Robbie that says, well, at least broken families are cooler than middle-class families.
Gross. That is a terrible quote. Oh, my God.
So,
wow.
we then find out that Rob really likes to listen to his brother's records.
Yeah.
Funkadelic, James Brown, Queen.
I love me some Funkadelic.
A lot of good stuff there. So don't knock him on that. They talk about how Rob liked to dress with flair, like, at school. It says, as the family moves around a lot, at 10 years old, he finds himself in the role of the new kid a lot, and it gives him a chance to kind of show off his flair. And they talk about the flair that he continues to have, like, to this day. Like, he's always been flashy.
Do you know what I'm talking about if I say 13 pieces of flair?
Yeah, you're talking about Office Space.
Thank you so much.
I love that movie, man. It's one of my favorite comedies. Yeah. It's only fitting for this, that Hitler had pieces of flair, that he made the juice.
Hey, Peter, get in here, man.
I love that. Hey, don't worry, I won't tell anybody either.
Through the wall.
Yeah, who's that guy? Don't worry about it. He's cool.
Anybody ever ask you if you had a case of the Mondays? No, man. No, that's how you get your ass kicked, man.
I love that movie.
Diedrich Bader.
He's great.
Yeah.
He's. Did you ever watch that Harley Quinn?
No, I haven't. Not yet.
He's the voice of Batman in that.
Is he?
Yeah.
He's
just
good
great.
One. He's on that
on Drew Carey show too.
He's on that new Bob Odenkirk series. He's his best friend.
Oh, I gotta watch that.
Lucky Hank.
Yeah. Okay.
Hey, by the way, I'm going to give you a recommendation on something. Has nothing to do with Rob Van Winkle, but The Consultant on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
I think it's 8 episodes or something, and that's it. There's no second season or anything like that. Okay. But it's Christoph Waltz as the weird German guy who comes in as the consultant after this guy dies.
Okay.
Yeah, and he just does all this creepy, weird stuff. It's really good.
Okay.
I enjoyed it a lot.
No, I'll check it
Anyway.
out. Well, I like him as an actor a lot too.
Oh, he's fantastic. Yeah, he makes a great bad guy.
So good. I loved him in Inglourious Basterds.
Makes a great Nazi.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Nazi.
That makes it sound like he's really funny too.
He's a funny Nazi. Like most of them.
Yeah. All right, back to Rob Van Winkle, who is not related to that at all.
No, with that name, no.
But it talks about then, as Ice officially enters his teen years, his mother marries Byron Mind or Mino. I think it's Mino.
Byron
right?
Mino.
His mom gets married again, right? And it says, Ice is unimpressed with the ceremony. And then it goes, I'd rather be riding my Indian motorcycle right now because Vanilla Ice is really big into motocross.
Okay.
It says, indeed, though he later claims to come from a poverty-stricken family, Ice's mother encourages his love of motorcycles by buying him all the bikes and equipment he needs.
Then, well, I mean, he lived in an affluent suburb.
See, they're like trying to be like...
Yeah. But he was real street.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's brought up a lot.
Thanks, buddy.
They talk about how he's known eventually. Oh, by 6th grade, Ice has 5 cycles. That's a lot.
5 cycles.
5 cycles. I don't know of what. It could be steroids. Could be, the cycle.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm assuming motorcycles.
Yes.
But it's also talked about how
it is Florida, so who knows?
he's known as the kid who wouldn't say no to a dare as well.
Yeah.
I love the way it tells this story because it's different from what I read from Wikipedia. It has him walking through school one day and he walks up to this girl and he says, yo, baby, you want to bust a move with me? I got some killer Curtis Blow platters.
Oh my God.
To make your feet scatter, because he's a rapper. He's got to speak rhymes. Yep. Bottom line.
Yep.
We could be flying no time. And then she replies with, get away, you geek, and quit rhyming like Nipsey Russell, which I will tell you,
what the F?
Who's
Nipsey Russell was like a comedian, but he was, how do I say this delicately? He was an African-American comedian, and he was kind of always a sidekick to like Dean Martin or somebody like that,
Gotcha.
Right? It was always like, oh, and here's Nipsey Russell, that kind of thing, right? They would bring him out on variety shows and stuff like that. He was a stand-up comedian.
Okay. Well, I didn't know until reading this comic and reading that name for the first time that then I'm a big fan of hip hop music, and that I think that maybe Nipsey Hussle is a.
Well, this was way before Nipsey Hussle.
No. I know, but I'm saying I'm like,
but that is a reference to Nipsey Russell.
Now I get it. Yeah, okay.
So Nipsey Russell, whenever he came on like the Tonight Show, he would say everything in rhyme.
Okay.
That's why she's referring to that.
Okay.
You shouldn't have to explain a reference that far in a Vanilla Ice comic book.
Well, this was the early 90s.
Even in the 90s.
Okay.
I think Nipsey Russell was probably dead then, too.
All right.
I don't think this Nipsey Russell death has been a recent occurrence, is all I'm saying, yeah.
She says, you think you're so hot. In case you haven't looked in the mirror, you're white as vanilla, is what she tells him. And says, and you're about as hot as ice. And then it has a thought bubble from Rob that says, yeah, but ice is cool. And I like the sound of vanilla. Boom.
Everybody loves the sound of vanilla.
Then this is the best 4 panels, well, some of the best 4 panels of the comic book to me.
So you're saying he just got his name from some
he's just like,
girl that he was hitting on. Yeah. Okay.
Boom, that works.
Sure.
Then he goes outside and he's like, who needs her? Like, I don't need this school stuff. I'm going to skip 7th period and go to the motocross meet, whatever. And then he walks by a flagpole and says, say, that flag up there would make a great coat. You want to know why? Because eventually later on, he had that suit that was all the American flag.
Yeah.
So a reference to that, that's the
really
only reason
great.
it's brought up there.
Good job. You did it.
Oh, man, I love that. So,
God almighty.
It talks about how, by the way, the way he did get his name.
Yeah.
Because it talks about then how he does get into, he does really like hip hop and he gets into breakdancing. We're going to skim over some of the,
Did they include the part where he was one of the repeat customers at the local sperm bank?
No.
Oh, okay.
What's
Maybe
that?
they'll get to that.
No, it's not brought up at all.
Oh, that wasn't on Wikipedia?
No. Well, I didn't read that far.
I just made that up.
Well, it might be on Wikipedia now.
Shit.
Great.
I just like to think of a bunch of little Vanilla Ices running around
I can't
somewhere.
wait for the cease and desist we get from.
Please, Mr. Van Winkle, send it to 1129 Webster, Waco, Texas, 76706.
It makes us realize that somebody listens.
That's right. If we knew that Vanilla Ice was listening to this and that he sent us a cease and desist, yes, we would take it down. We would cease and desist, but it would make some great fodder. Yeah, it would be wonderful.
I would be happy the rest of my life just knowing that.
It's cool as ice.
Yeah.
Ice is cool. And broken families are great.
Go Ninja, go Ninja, go. I mean, I don't think Rob said that, but I'm not saying like I just remember from my childhood.
I get it. Yeah. The thing that always strikes me about this kind of stuff is that yes, it's an unauthorized. So all they have is like a bullet point list of shit that happened in Vanilla Ice's life,
and then they kind of make other things happen around it.
They're like, oh, and then we went outside and he saw a flag, and he was like, ooh, that'd make a great coat.
So
shut up.
They talk about like how he gets into breakdancing and stuff like that. He still has trouble in school. He's just kind of like he's a kid who likes to find trouble, kind of stuff.
Were people still breakdancing when you were a kid?
No, not that I remember. I think that was an '80s thing.
Yeah. Okay. There's a place.
I mean, I could be wrong, but
there's a place down here on Waco Drive that after you go over the bridge, like you're going towards Belmead or Lacey Lakeview, the caviar of the South. Yeah. It was like this place where there was a constant piece of cardboard on the ground, and they would have the popping and locking championships there, like every weekend.
Do you ever watch Community?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you said that, and I think. Well, I'm thinking of Magnitude, but I also think of the episode where they have the pop and lock off, where Chang dances for like he pop and locks by himself for like 6 hours just for them to keep up.
Sure.
Oh man, but. What I did read and find out, again, via Wikipedia, so take it for what it's worth, this could be completely wrong too, is that other people in the breakdancing like crew, I guess, that he was in, started calling him Vanilla because he was the only white guy in the group.
Well,
and he didn't really like it.
Yeah.
Or he wasn't too fond of it at first, apparently, but maybe it grew on him. And the ice part is apparently like a breakdancing move.
Oh, okay.
So it just mixes together there. Again, could be wrong. There you go.
Yeah. Okay.
We see that
that all makes sense.
Yeah, it does. We see
which
that,
is probably why it's false.
Oh, we see that Vanilla gets to go to his first rap show. He sees Run DMC in the summer of 1985.
Oh, that was a big time for that.
We then do find out that in his junior year, he bids high school farewell, and then it puts in parentheses, he later scores a mail-in diploma. Like, ooh, sick burn.
Mail-in?
I guess a GED.
Okay.
I don't know.
He went to that school for pregnant girls. And got his mail-in diploma.
It then says Ice dives into the motocross circuit. He later claims to have won various national championships, though the American Motocross Association has no record of any such wins. An injury takes him off the racing scene.
Injury to his spirit.
And then says another incident, which Ice often talks about, though never confirmed, supposedly happened around here when he was in Richardson, when he was 18 and in Richardson.
Yeah.
There it talks about like he has a run-in with some guys, and it says the Iceman claims to have lost half of his body's blood in the gang fight, in quotes. Years later, he pulls off his pants at a press conference to show the scar and prove to reporters that I ain't no liar. I didn't look up to see if that happened.
No,
I didn't want to see if it
matter.
happened.
Yeah.
Even if it didn't, the story's just funnier in this.
Is that on the back cover? Is that him and MC Hammer?
Yes, it is.
Squaring off?
It
okay.
is.
All right. Well, it was either MC Hammer or who's the guy that went to jail for tax evasion? He was in Blade.
Wesley Snipes?
Yeah. I thought it was either Wesley Snipes or MC Hammer.
No, it's
one or the other.
Yeah.
The way it's drawn, it could very well be Wesley Snipes.
That's true. So it kind of
see, it's Wesley Snipes
in a caricature kind of way.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So
I didn't think it was really Wesley Snipes.
Well, it says in July of 1987, he and his buddy are kind of out club hopping in Dallas because Rob's from spent some time in the DFW.
Yeah.
That's where it's between Miami and it's the DFW area.
Yeah.
But while he's there, his friend
of the country.
That's
sure.
it. There's not anything
There's nothing
west.
else. Yeah, that's right. I don't know where that gold's coming from.
We just alienated like 2 people out west who listen. Probably.
Right.
We're sorry.
They were probably falling
I'm
off
very
anyway.
liberal. Just listen because of that. So
I love taxes. No, I'm just kidding.
So we're an odd couple. No. Shit, I forgot where
He
it was.
has not had a terrible life.
That is, by the way, that is a terrible picture.
Oh my God.
Well, I don't know. I think being stabbed and losing half your body in blood is not good.
If it's true.
Well, I mean, he claims it is. So
Okay,
fine.
I claim to have a really big. No, I'm just kidding.
Mike.
Yeah, you've seen me walk.
It introduces the story. I'm just glossing right over it.
Stupid.
It's fine.
Right. Why is he battling Ronald McDonald?
Well, his friend signs him up for a rap battle. And again, I don't know if any of this
said rap
battle.
Okay,
Yep.
not rat.
No.
Okay.
And I don't know if any of this is true, but it has him like he
fight
tells
Steven, whatever his name was. It was the front man for Rat. That's what that was.
with 2 T's.
Yeah, Rat.
He goes up there and essentially he raps for the crowd, and he's like, "Hey, if you like this, then like check out my moves." And people seem to like it.
Takes his pants off. Gets stabbed in the leg.
The guy who runs the club, was it Tommy Kwan? Sorry.
Yeah, that's Tommy Kwan.
Yeah.
These panels are the stupidest thing I've ever seen.
Well, no, just wait till
Just him standing there.
This is the part.
Different poses.
That's another one. When I tell you it was one of the best 4 panels, this is another one of the best 4 panels.
Cool.
He talks about how he's the owner of the City Lights Club there, and he ends up being Vanilla Ice's manager. Like he pays for studio time, and they help kind of press and
I do remember hearing part of that story. Yeah.
So. But while they're doing everything, it says like Svengali and Dr. Frankenstein before them, Quan and Quake, because the club DJ was DJ Earthquake.
DJ Quake, yeah.
So Quan and Quake put their monster hit maker together using bits and pieces from many sources. And then these panels, it tells him, okay, dance like James Brown. Now double time rap like Run DMC. And it says, yep, too cool to fool, bat the cat, skid on grid.
What?
And then it says,
skid on grid?
Beatbox like the Fat Boys.
Why?
And it's just this.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Just 3 booms.
Sure.
And
Boom,
then
boom,
it
boom.
says, now, I got to make sure I say this right because it's very close.
Sure.
Now funk, with an N, it up like Parliament. While you slide like MC Hammer.
Well, that is a very MC Hammer pose. He's got the one arm behind his head, and he's got his legs kind of in a football stance. Well, I don't know, it's a football stance, but you know what I mean.
So we find out that Vanilla Ice is kind of
there's a lot of profile pictures in
just
this thing.
a mashup. It covers over like what they're planning on doing for the record. They decide, hey, we'll release this song. There's a lot of stuff in here. They like to just bring up the fact of how he's a white guy in hip hop.
Sure.
And they think that like he's trying to
Well,
cultural appropriate.
Yeah, I can see that.
But then like he also has people, I don't know if it's true or not, but in the comic has telling people like it's reverse racism. That's what's causing this.
Oh.
So
okay.
again, these are
Is this a Donald Trump publication?
It talks about how he goes on tour with Paula and he like is a backup with Paula Abdul and MC Hammer. And they talk about
the Paula Abdul connection.
Yeah. Or no, maybe that's later that they go on tour together. But it's brought up a little bit. He goes on tour kind of in the South, just mainly in Georgia and Texas. And he does okay, and he gets, some people coming out to shows and stuff. But then it talks about something fortuitous happened. And in late March, a morning DJ in Columbus, Georgia, accidentally makes this mistake. And he's like, hey, we're here. And here's one for request, a hot new version of Wild Cherries, Play That Funky Music. Because it was Play That Funky Music, White Boy. And I think he sampled over it, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know all the songs.
Sure.
But by accident, he played the B side of the record, which was Ice Ice Baby.
Really? Wow. Okay.
And apparently everybody loved
the
it.
The phone just rang off the hook. And I know that because I can see it here illustrated in the comic.
And then people start just coming out in droves.
I want to know why this guy has 5 phones.
I don't know. Because he's at the radio station. That's what it's simulating.
You can't have multiple lines on one phone. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, it talks about, though, how now that he's gotten popular with that, they take him back in the studio. He re-records his first album, like an LP, and adds some more songs because he's no longer independent. He gets signed by SBK Records.
SBK.
SBK. Here's what I love too about this. It says it's I believe this is supposed to be Tommy Kwan talking to him. And it says, not a problem when Ice returns to Dallas for a series of June gigs. The single saturates the airwaves. And Kwan says, Ice, we've got a firm offer from one of the majors. And Ice says, who is it? Warner's? Capitol? And Tommy Kwan says, no, it's SBK Records. The guys who carry Wilson Phillips.
Like physically, or
it just says the guys who
take us over
Wilson
there.
Phillips.
Okay.
They're flush with green and confident, and they want to take a chance on you. So
Wilson
he goes back
Phillips.
in. Yeah, Carrie Wilson Phillips. He goes back in. He re-records the album for SBK. They release it. The heavily promoted To the Extreme LP comes out September 18th. 1990.
Tommy Kwan says, "Hang on for just one more day, Vanilla."
Yeah, and now that the record's out, he's starting to get booked on more things. What was it? Ice, who's the hot test rapper around? And he goes, easy, MC Hammer. He's at the top of the charts. He talks about how, he's hoping that I remember this. The guy, they sign a booking artist named Peter Seats who tells him that he got a deal with MC Hammer and In Vogue to be the opener for them.
That was a big deal then.
It was a big deal.
MC Hammer and In Vogue.
In Vogue.
Jeez.
And I think that while we're to this point, because we're about to take off, like it's about to get fast and furious for Mr.
I'm strapping
Vanilla Ice for the last 12 pages of this comic. Let's go ahead and it's a perfect time to take a break.
Hey, that sounds great.
Yeah, so we'll be right back after this.
Ice, baby.
And we are back to finish where we left off. So, Ice Baby, it's climbing up the charts, right?
Sure.
He's now on tour.
It was huger than huge.
It was huger than huge. Well, here's the thing. I'm pretty sure. We're about to get to it, so I'll save it for that.
Yeah.
It talks about how the album hits the Billboard Top 10 in only 5 weeks, and by October, he's kind of closing out on MC Hammer's #1 Stranglehold. And it talks about him going on MTV. And again, this is the way they write him. I don't know. I didn't go back to check, and that's on me. Usually I'm really good about doing this, and I can confirm stuff.
Yeah.
But it shows him on MTV, and he says, well, it's not where you're from. It's where you're at. It's not who you were. It's who you are. And it has the MTV reporter going, words of wisdom indeed. And then he again says, well, I'm 100% original. My rap is more understandable, slower. It tells a story. You can write a book on each of my thoughts.
No, you can't.
And then it says, well, nobody ever heard of a rapper with humility. And here's what I think is funny. I should have looked up to see if it's an actual quote. That makes sense. But if they wrote him like that, it's like they wrote him to sound like an idiot and then burned him again in the end.
Yeah. It does seem like the people that put this together weren't big fans.
No.
Yeah.
No. They don't feel like they miss a shot or they don't miss a chance to take a shot when they can. It's amusing.
Fight.
It's amusing for sure.
Yeah, sure.
It talks about that the bravado that Ice has continues off camera as well. And he tells MC Hammer that, that the way the crowds are showing up, it's not really like I'm opening for you. You're just closing down the show for me. It's like they talk about how he starts like making deal, and it comes up later here too. In late October, he's invited to play a small role.
Why your pants so big?
In a new film, which would be the follow-up to, or no, it's the first one, right? No, it's the second one.
I think it's the second. Yeah,
the
it's the second
follow-up.
one,
It's the
definitely.
sequel, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, and it says
Secret of the Ooze.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
I believe that's Kevin Nash played Super Shredder in that
Kevin
for you as
Nash,
well.
really?
The wrestler.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Huh.
Dude, I'm a huge Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
But listen to him tell the story once. I think it was like apparently, I'm not going to butcher it. He tells the story out there, but they had come because apparently the suit was built specifically for somebody, I don't know if the guy had gotten hurt before. And so they had him build at whatever, and they were in the area. So they went and watched him at a WCW event. We're like,
wow.
okay. And yeah, and he. So there you go.
That's cool.
Yep. So back to Vanilla Ice.
Thank you for enjoying our Kevin Nash podcast.
He has his own podcast. So
Does he?
He does.
What is it? Is it about wrestling?
Yeah. And it's like,
what if it was like financial advice or something with Kevin Nash?
With those, I feel like, and again,
He was the one with all the stubble and the toothpick?
No, that's Scott Hall.
Oh, which one was Kevin Nash?
Kevin Nash was the taller of the two. He was about 6'11".
He kind of looked like
he had longer hair,
right?
I mean, well, he was okay. So, funny enough, you say that when he played. Timeout, wrestling nerd alert here.
Please.
So back in my childhood, and I don't know when you watched, so none of these names may mean anything to you. In WWF at the time, there was Diesel and Razor Ramon.
I remember them. Yep.
Kevin Nash played Diesel. Scott Hall played Razor Ramon. Yep. Their contracts were up. They left. Yep, they went to WCW. While they were over there, they debuted as themselves because you know what about a character name? You can't copyright. Well, yeah, WWF owned those characters, but also you can't copyright somebody else's name.
That's
so
true.
They were able to operate. I don't know if that's one of the things. I feel like it was. Anyway, but since they owned the characters' names, WWF decided, well, we'll just make a new, like, the audience won't realize that they're gone. We'll just have somebody else play Diesel and Razor Ramon.
Oh, really?
So they had guys watch their tapes and stuff and like learn their moves and mannerisms
and pretend to be them.
They hyped it up on Monday Night Raw about how they were going to be there. This only lasts like a week or two, maybe misremembering, maybe it's a month. It's not a long time, and like everybody knows, and it's bad. Like you can tell it's
Is this
not
before or after the WCW? Acquisition.
This is before.
Way before. Okay.
Yeah, this is 96. So 5 years before. But I have so much knowledge.
I love how you know when it happens.
I love it.
The best. Yeah.
But so you brought up Kane. Kane played fake Diesel.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah. That was one of his first. When he came into WWF, he played fake Diesel, and then Vince McMahon had an idea for a character of how everybody hated going to the doctor, or not to the doctor, to the dentist. And he was going to be a dentist.
You should be a dentist.
Loved it on people's teeth. And his name was Dr. Isaac Yankem.
Wonderful.
This was in the 90s and there were characters. And then I think like the last ditch effort was him to be Kane. And thankfully Kane took off. And now he's a mayor.
Is he really?
Yeah, in Tennessee. He's the mayor of some town. Yeah.
Is his last name Hodder?
No. Kane Hodder isn't that who played Jason in the?
Yeah, it is. You're right. Yeah.
His name is Glenn. Oh my goodness, I'm blanking on his last name right now.
Glenn Yankem.
No, it's Glenn
Campbell.
Glenn. Nope, Glenn. Big Glenn, aka Kane.
Glenn Van Winkle.
Glenn, sure.
Is that what it is?
No, it's not.
Brings us right back to Vanilla Ice.
I'm sorry, Mr.
No, you're
Kane.
good.
Let's go ahead and wrap this up. We've gone on. I kind of made this a little bit longer than we needed to. So I was going to bring up, we talked about how big Ice Ice Baby is. It talks about here how with his first gold record and his first platinum record.
It's Glenn Jacobs.
Thank you.
Glenn Jacobs. Good job. 2 ends.
So Ice Ice Baby was a platinum record too.
Yes. I remember him like coming on MTV. I remember the whole. It's not a proud moment of mine, but it was. I remember all of that. Like, I can. As you're telling the story,
you can remember this.
I'm recollecting all of the things that he's talked about before. Yeah.
So things are going great for him. He's got this big tour. It says, but controversy closely dodges Ice's rap. On November 19th, 1990, U.S. Today shot through the contrived biographical background. Oh, I guess he released a... And it says, Vanilla Ice is not the ghetto-bred motorcycle champion he claims to be. The white rapper is Robert Van Winkle, who attended high school in an affluent Dallas suburb and did not win 3 motocross championships as claimed.
Yeah.
Because those motocross championships,
they're sacred, man.
If you don't have those, what do we have?
Oh, come on. You can't. Why does his face look like Mel Gibson in Braveheart?
It was painted for something. I do remember seeing, I think he's wearing a Miami jersey, so maybe it's Miami colors.
Okay.
I don't remember.
You just like walk around with that on your face?
Yeah. He has like a press conference to answer all these questions about.
Why your face look like that?
Yeah.
That was one of the questions.
That was one of the
There's
questions.
Sean Penn.
No, that's the reporter again, and it talks about like, hey, just how much of your songs do you actually write? And he's like, well, I put my own touch on it. I write my lyrics. And they're like, I'm sure we all are duly impressed with a live drummer that you're going to add. Like the reporter's just like, he goes, that's what Ice says. He goes, I put my touch to it. I write my lyrics. I help with the remixes. What's that if not creativity? We even use the live drummer on Go Ill. And so the guy goes, I'm sure we're all duly impressed with the live drummer. What a concept. But what about LL Cool J's comment that your song, I Love You, sounds suspiciously like his own I Need Love? And it's just next question. So it just goes through like he's facing a lot of grief in the press after USA Today's gone through and dug up all this stuff.
Do you remember my favorite LL Cool J song of all time? What do you think it is?
Mama Said Knock You Out.
Pink Cookies in a Plastic Bag Being Crushed by a Building. I don't know what the name of that song is. I just cannot get that lyric out of my head for some reason.
The LL Cool J lyric that always stays in my head.
Ladies love Cool J.
No, it's not. It's the chorus of a song. And it's mainly his part, but it's going back to Cali. It's the, I don't think so. That's the line for some reason. As soon as I hear LL Cool J, it's, I don't think so.
Every time my wife is watching that god dang NCIS or whatever the hell he's on, NCIS, CSI, ER on Flames, whatever. Anytime I see him, I think pink cookies in a plastic bag being crushed by a building.
Nice.
That's all I think.
Awesome.
I think that's like a reference to sex, but I don't know.
I don't know. I'm lost there too. I'm not the person to ask.
Pink cookies in a plastic bag being crushed by a building.
I'll look up to it. We'll figure that out.
Sounds great. Wonderful.
Or maybe one of our 2 listeners can write in. Bros,
Jeff,
foes, and
that.
heroes at gmail.com. Come on, Jeff. We know you're back listening, even though Mike yelled at you a couple months ago.
Jeff.
The other thing that I love, just to close this out, is they talk about that in December's People magazine, they run another expose and they kind of get to interview him. And he talks about, so the person says, so it's not true that you were stabbed in Coconut Grove, Florida, as you claimed? And he goes, no, that was a blind. I guess that means a lie. He goes, so the whole story was placated, is what the reporter says. He goes, well, I was stabbed 5 times, but it was in Richardson, Texas. I lied because I didn't want to stir up any old gang members. Don't know what that means.
It was at a bingo hall.
But then the artist, to show that I showed him where he got stabbed, decided this was what, 1991. I will say, I think James Cameron has some explaining to do.
Okay. Oh, shit.
Ice is drawn.
Ice is like draw me like
Kate
one of your
Winslet,
French girls.
Draw me that's exactly how he's laying.
Yeah, he is.
No nipples.
But he's got a blanket over him, right?
No, I don't think so.
It's got to be a blanket because look, he's got no crotch then.
Oh, you're right. Never mind. So he's just underneath it.
Yes, he's under the cover.
Never mind. I thought
because
I was like,
this is a weird part of his abdomen right there.
I didn't see that. To me, this looks like shirt raised up underneath.
Okay, so he's laying down like Kate Winslet, and he is draw me like one of your French girls. He's saying, well, I was stabbed 5 times, but it was in Richardson, Texas. I lied because I didn't want to stir up any old gang members. So, yeah, he's under like a blanket on a cot for some reason. No, he's in a bed. Oh, they're interviewing him in a hotel room.
But the pose is drama like one of your French girls, and it's just too funny.
I think it would have been better his nipples just hanging out.
Yeah. Hold on.
Look at this one.
Why also in December,
so wide open?
They talk about how they booked Ice in a European tour. So now he gets to go overseas. He's mobbed everywhere over in Europe. This
has to be like the most intricate panel in the whole thing. There's a lot of people in that crowd.
Again, there's not some bad art in this. Like some of it, you're like MC Hammer's smile there.
Yeah.
It plays it up more how the two of them kind of didn't get along on tour. They also say by millions. Eventually he overtakes MC Hammer, but MC Hammer wins the Grammy that year. And where's it goes? He tries to tell Hammer like, hey, we're still number 1. And MC Hammer tells him, yeah, but you still haven't topped my sales.
Don't hurt him.
And then it says, but millions of listeners side with Ice. In February 1991, he releases a breezy, unspecific autobiography.
Breezy?
Through Avon Books after a spat of unauthorized tomes. I love the word tomes, by the way. It says some experts, as told by Ice in the book, mostly spoken in the third person for some reason. And then here are the quotes that it says: still a kid at heart, never does drugs. I am from the streets. That is where I learned to rap, beatbox, and dance. That is where I learned about life. Confident and cocky, but not too cold. And then never cries.
You know, if there's one thing I know about rappers is they speak in complete sentences. Very grammatically correct sentences.
It says...
I am from the streets.
Ice even takes a page to give advice in his book of how girls can pick him up.
Oh, neat.
And it says, the best way to get my attention is to dress super sexy, and then when you meet me, play like you don't know who I am. Which kind of sounds like a stand-up bit.
Yeah.
And it's just like, because it's like, well, then everybody.
You ever notice that when...
it's like, act like you don't know me.
But you don't know me,
I feel like it's a disease.
Ice.
Sorry, but at the same time, it's like, how many people then did he walk up to, some sexy ladies, and he's like, hey, you know who I am? And she's like, no. And he's like, yes.
Yeah.
It's my type.
He just runs off to the corner.
Oh, man.
That's my type.
In mid-March, he puts in an appearance at the People's Choice Awards, and they... where is this at? Oh, the status remains impressive. Oh, also in mid-March, he appears on MTV's Rockline, a call-in show where viewers phone up to ask questions. Martha Quinn hosts, though Ice is reticent, claiming fatigue from his nonstop schedule, which I'm sure is probably part of it.
You ever heard the song Stuffin' Martha's Muffin?
No.
Yeah, it's by Mojo Nixon and Toad Roper, whatever.
Are you making this up?
No.
Okay.
It's by Mojo Nixon, and it's about him wanting to have sex with Martha Quinn.
Okay.
Stuffin' Martha's Muffin.
Lovely.
Came out about this time.
Did it really?
Yeah, it was while she was still on MTV. Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense. No, my group like that, I'm assuming, was probably the Bloodhound Gang. So,
Yeah.
it says one
Like
caller...
on Animal Planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One caller asked for the truth behind the rumors of rampant song stealing by Ice.
Wait, that was them, right?
Yeah, it's called
the Bad Touch. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
And he goes, stealing is one way of putting it, but people who call it that don't understand rap music.
Oh, we're talking sampling now?
Yeah. And that's what, like, it's talking
he
about
was
him
the
there.
poster child for sampling.
And he goes, sampling is a part of rap music, though you do have to pay the people. I've learned this, is what he says.
Yeah.
And then she goes, and how did you go?
Justice.
And she goes, and how did you go about learning this exactly?
Somebody
and he
beat me.
goes, well, I didn't know all the legal standpoints and all that stuff. I just did a song, put it on vinyl, and it sold. Then everybody wanted a piece of it. But my manager has said, hey, we'll worry about it.
Yeah. That's the best way to do business.
The next day, he performs at MTV's Daytona Beach Spring Break, though his manager bears bad news after the set is finished. The album got bumped from #1 after 15 weeks. And he goes, damn. Well, it had to happen eventually. And he just kind of asked, who knocked me out?
MC Hammer.
Mariah Carey.
Oh.
And he goes, well, at least it wasn't another rapper.
Merry Christmas, Baby, or whatever that song.
On March 23rd, they're like these are the last two panels, and they're trying to squeeze everything in. Yeah. On March 23rd, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 is out, featuring Ice's Ninja Rap song. Shows a picture of him. And then this is my favorite. In May, Ice is arrested outside a rap supermarket in L.A. for brandishing a firearm. And the last quote of the thing says, get out of my face, shit brain. And that's how the comic
That's it? Get out of my face, shit brain? Wow.
And then the box down here. So is Vanilla Ice just the flavor of the year? Will he have staying power, or will he melt over the critical fire? Tune into the continuing saga and find out if it really is the dawn of a new ice age. Or I will tell you, I do like this. This was good. Or if the Iceman has already cometh and goneth.
Gross.
Well, I get,
Yeah, no, I get it.
So there you go. That is Rock and Roll Comics number 31 of the batch
really
for Vanilla
great,
Ice.
Man. Yeah, the art on the cover is terrible, by the way.
Oh, man. I loved it. So there you go. I thought you would appreciate us looking at a comic version of Vanilla Ice.
I do appreciate that. Yeah, this was even better than the
Billy Ray
Achy
Cyrus
Breaky
one?
Heart.
I don't know. Billy Ray Cyrus had to go back and travel in time and was in a
true.
fort.
You're right about that.
I'm going to have to reread that because a lot of times.
Why in the hell would you do that to yourself?
Okay. We talked earlier about I heard something. Here we go. I heard something from Alan Moore once.
Yeah.
Who was a very good, I love as a comic book writer and other comic book writers. I even heard current ones like
Watchmen?
Chip. Yep. like Chip Zdarsky say this too, that you need to read a lot. Like that's the way to be a good writer is to read everything.
Yeah.
But also something I heard Alan Moore say once is like to read, but don't just read good stuff. Read bad stuff too. Because if all you do is read good stuff, you're going to constantly be trying to be like, oh, I want to try to be like that. I want to be good like that. It's
true.
Whereas if you read bad stuff, you can be like, I can do better than that. All right. I don't like how they did that. I would do it like this. And you can find, you know. So, like, I might go back and find something about that, or I just forgot the story, so that's why I'm going to go back and read it.
You do learn a lot from failure, and it doesn't have to be just your failure.
That's true.
You know?
Well, we got very philosophical at the end.
Well, we got philosophical before this started, and then we got philosophical afterwards. I think there's something in the water.
There's something in the water. Or in our Coke Zeros. Not a sponsor.
As Vanilla Ice would say,
Yet. Ooh.
Yo, dudes, how's it look? Huh?
Speaking of, vanilla Coke is fantastic.
Oh, vanilla Coke.
Hey,
Vanilla
Coke,
Ice.
I want to speak to just vanilla Coke, and specifically since vanilla.
A sentient vanilla Coke is who he's speaking to.
Whoever, like, I don't know if that it's all under the Coke umbrella or if y'all have little divisions. But I want to speak specifically to the zero sugar vanilla Coke people. If you would love to sponsor the show.
Okay, so is there a vanilla Coke Zero?
I assume there has to be.
I've
had the cherry one.
Okay, I don't think there's one in a can.
No, I think it's bottle.
So
I could be wrong. Let me look it up.
No, the only place I've ever been able to get that would be at a movie theater or one of those mix-it-yourself dispensers.
Yeah, you're right. I think that is where I usually get it.
I think that's the only place you can get it is in the mix your own whatever. The suicide machine is what it is, basically.
No, they have.
Oh, they do?
No, that's just vanilla Coke. Mm-hmm. Which, here's the thing. Vanilla Coke. Oh, yeah, they do. It's gold.
Oh, I've never seen that can. Never. That's amazing.
All right, well, we're going to try. Also, even though it has a lot of sugar in it, but it's really good. And it's a competitor. So if they want to sponsor us instead. No, but Pepsi. They had those cold brew.
Yeah.
Did you ever see those? The nitro brew?
Those are not bad at all.
Oh, those are really good. It's super smooth,
But there's also a Coke with coffee. Have you ever had that? Coke Black?
I might have had it before.
It's pretty damn good.
It's good, honestly. But I like the smoothness of the nitro brew. So I'm saying we've pitched a lot of places. We will talk up whatever you want us to.
That's right.
You just got to give us a chance. Yep. So we appreciate it as always for you guys tuning in and listening.
Condoms for children. Whatever. It doesn't matter.
Hey, you know what? I would rather preach safe sex than just abstinence by itself. Exactly. So that's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not what our podcast is about. What it is about is comics. And if you would like to reach out to us, feel free to email us, bros, foes, and
Who wouldn't want to reach out to us after
especially after this?
Who wouldn't want to?
I probably need to say it at the beginning instead of at the end because we probably lose people by this point. But oh well. Also, make sure to check out all the other great podcasts on the Rogue Media Network family, roguemedianetwork.com.
roguemedianetwork.com.
And until next week, as always,
I appreciate you giving me that opportunity every time. That's very nice of you. Yeah.
I like it. I've told you about, like, I like to feel like even though I might not be a big part of it, like anything I can do to help anybody else out.
You're the perfect setup guy for stuff like that, though.
Yeah,
and that's from your years of sitting behind a microphone and
here's the
control
thing.
board.
I like to think, and I could be wrong, is because I was usually the producer. I didn't always talk as much.
Yeah.
But I kind of got to watch my co-hosts, and you would pick up things, and you know kind of how to go off of them. You're able to collaborate. And it's really great. And so I know your strong points, Mike.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. That's the only ones I want you to know about.
Okay. Well, that's all points. I see.
Yeah.
You have no weaknesses. Next week, we talk about Mike's weaknesses.
Yeah.
As always, appreciate you guys tuning in. And until next week, stay safe, everybody.
Golly God.
Bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.